All right, we're live on X, YouTube, Rumble, about to be live on Rockfin. Soon as the little go live button is red and clickable, and then we're going to get going. 2:23 in the afternoon show for me. Always doing it at different times. You guys know that. And we're live on Rockfin now as well. This is the Propaganda Report. I am Brad Binkley. We have a special guest for you guys this afternoon. If you've ever listened to the No Agenda podcast with Podfather, Adam Curry, and everyone's favorite curmudgeon, John C. Dvorak, then you've no doubt heard our guest today because he has created over 100 of the awesome end-of-show mixes that the No Agenda guys play to close out every show. And he not only makes those mixes for the greatest podcast in the universe, got to give them props for that for sure. He also supports independent media, value for value. He manages a comedy club, and he's a rapper whose lyrics don't just focus on genitalia and debauchery. Instead, his raps highlight the problems in modern society, and those lyrics that follow offer solutions that not only make you want to bob your head, but they make you laugh. And he's got a new album he's dropping, and he's here to talk to us about his album and maybe his creative process and everything going on in the world. We'll see where the conversation goes, but please welcome to the show my friend and probably many of y'all's Deezlaughs, a.k.a. Derryck. Welcome to the show, man. I'm excited to have you on.
Hey, man. Great to be here. Can't wait to get into some comedy. I'm in Toronto, Canada.
Yeah,
definitely.
Up in Toronto. So we spent about 20 minutes doing what you always do with StreamYard and figuring out why the audio isn't working. We actually had it working initially, and then we got a little cocky and derailed our technical process, but we got it back on track.
Right. We're good now.
Yeah, right. So first of all, tell our listeners just a little bit about yourself for those who don't know you, and then we'll talk about what you're working on.
So basically, I live in Toronto, manage a stand-up comedy club. It's called the Corner Comedy Club, and it's an independent little comedy club, but it's probably one of the better stand-up comedy clubs in the country. Comedians love passing through there. So
Tripoli's been there. Luckily, Tripoli had great things to say.
Oh, yeah, Tripoli's amazing. He's been here. We've sent a lot of guys actually from here to the States that are starting to blow up too. So that's kind of nice to see. And just working on a little rap career, in my second childhood here now, in my mid-40s. Just had a midlife crisis probably during COVID, like most people.
Well, man, I think artistic expression is at any age. I think artistic expression is great. And you've been making those end-of-show mixes, which are awesome. I have to say, the first time I was ever on No Agenda podcast, it wasn't the couple of times they've played clips from, I think it was 2 shows they played clips from that I was in. It was the end of show mixes that you included me in. And I thought it was the coolest thing, man. I played it for everybody, and it was so creative, and it was funny, and it was just such a unique way to create rap. Typically people are talking about their vaginas and they're talking about shooting people in rap music, especially in the Diddy days. But you're taking propaganda and, this stuff that we're surrounded with that can demoralize some people, and you're turning that into artistic inspiration, and you're mocking them, and you're kind of educating through it in a way, and you're including some of your favorite podcasters in it, which it's just so super cool, man. I've always appreciated that. But tell us about your artistic inspiration a little bit, the way you work.
Yeah, so I mean, I've always been a fan of just rap music, but I actually grew up. I went to an art school here in Toronto. I played the tuba. I was in from grade 7 to 13. We got 13 grades up here for whatever weird reason.
Yeah.
So I did. So I did music earlier, and then I just completely didn't touch it. And then during the pandemic, I was listening to No Agenda, heard some people making music, and I was like, I'd be kind of cool to do it again. And then I heard some raps that I thought were terrible, and I was like, I could definitely do better than that. And then it's like with anything, you know, you can talk or you can actually do. So it kind of challenged me to kind of produce my own content. So yeah, it was fun.
That's cool. I didn't realize that No Agenda, listening to the previous show mixes, kind of inspired you to get back into music.
Yeah, definitely. So I was living with a roommate at the time, like during the pandemic. He was a music producer. So we literally just made music during the pandemic in the house. No Diddy, I promise. This is no Baby Oil, nothing.
Definitely no Diddy, no doubt at all.
What's up, Diddy, no doubt. Exactly.
What's up, Nate, in the chat's got some people listening to the chats. So
yeah.
I have a few samples. You have an album coming out.
Sure.
What's the name of the album? I love it.
So October Surprise, you know, the album's kind of about your U.S. election season and just kind of the lead up. So these are just songs I've kind of done within the last year or so. And just about kind of the election and just a crazy, coverage of everything. I love it.
You want to play a couple of these and you can tell us about them and give people a taste of what's to come with the full album?
Yeah, you play like maybe, I don't know, play whatever you like, intro, and then like maybe a little bit of it. And I could tell you a little bit about each song or kind of.
I think I want to play all three of these. I like all three of these. Let's see what we find. I have the list of the names here. We have Two Murky Waters.
Sure.
We have, okay, we'll start with that one. Obviously, my favorite's going to be the one that has me in it. But all of them are really good. I was really like listening to them last night, man. I've always wished that I was a rapper, you know, but I've never been a rapper. The best I could do is the Doot game in improv, which is really gay and not cool like this.
Right.
And I listened to this, I was like, man, this is like it's good stuff, man. And you hit on so many different topics. It's interesting. I'm trying to get the share thing here. There it is.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so this is Two Murky Waters. That's the correct title, right?
Oh, Murky Waters. Murky Waters, yeah.
Okay, here we go. That's the first one. Ridiculous.
The question before us is, will a vindictive, vile villain violate voters' vision?
That's the question. That's the question.
I said Darwinism, a belief replacing God to me is bold. Asking for the miracle before faith, it's just too cold. God allowing us to deny his existence. I'm not browbeating to accept my views with persistence. I've learned that don't be last to get involved in local politics. They'll prey upon your fears. Politricks, just act in a more neighborly way. Treat the people as you like to be treated a day to day. Listening to RFK on Lex, I felt a bond to his story of addiction and drugs. Your word is bond. Backsliding is what I'm not hiding, trying to avoid or prevent. Sorta like a zone defense. Tamper 2 is what I meant. How do you cement a strong legacy? I guess we'll see. Insincere and dishonest M5M Tom about Robert Kennedy, referring to him as Bobby K, Bobby the Q, RFK Jew. Yeah, chicken made in aluminum vat is not a tumor. A lawyer too. Now they calling them anti-vax. I mean the humor. Podcast president, the everyman they can't resist, but resist we much. Al Sharpton, who wasn't too sharp with the tongue and hard to trust. A public speaker and a preacher who used to run, I mean not a race, but I think the teleprompter won. No agenda, put your money where your mouth is. Don't penny pinch your treasure or be so selfish. Did you get some value meaningful to you? Just put it in a number. Keep trolling, but don't be rude, my dude.
Let's let her continue.
For a better America or not, I hear alliterations are back in style. We deserve better.
Wait a minute. Look, people.
We deserve.
Like they're kind of like smiling, but I don't know that they know what exactly did she say there. She said, "Will a vindictive, vile villain violate voters' vision?" Okay, so yeah.
You're a rapper. See, you just rhymed it at the end.
I realized right when it started. I was like, "You made me a rapper." I actually sounded like I I was intentionally rapping there, by the way you put me in there. And you bookended it there. It was a nice bookend there. I remember very vividly that show because of how stupid that alliteration that woman. It was the dumbest alliteration that said nothing that I'd ever heard. It was just so stupid, but she was so proud of it. Right. And you mocked it here, which I loved. But you had the golden rule. You had get involved in local politics. You had a little football. You had Bobby the Op. It's just interesting how many topics you're able to weave through there. And so how did that come together when you were creating that song?
So most of the songs that I listen to, and I don't know, maybe I'm going to out myself a bit, but I listen to a lot of podcasts. So I feel like I used to listen to a lot of podcasts and almost kind of just waste my days, just kind of listening to other people's content, blah, blah.
Oh, we lost you there.
Yeah, so I'll try to maybe make notes about it.
Go back.
So if it's something I'm really interested in, like No Agenda, I'll just write down the topics, funny phrases, and then I'll kind of just try to weave that into a song, like later on, like just write out from my notes. That's
interesting. That's kind of similar to how people write stand-up comedy.
Maybe. So I don't want to ever think like, oh, I'm so original or anything, but I'm literally just using some of my favorite podcasters' topics, information that I think, like morals that are, maybe being not so practiced in this day and age, and just put it in a more positive message.
Like, kill that N-word. You're like, treat people how you want to be treated. Use the golden rule. That's not something you often hear in rap. And there's a bit of a delay for those listening. He's in Toronto. I'm here, and we have the CIA messing with us here. And what's it called up there? The Royal Horse Mounters up there?
The Royal Canadian Mountain Police.
Yeah, so we know we're being messed with a little bit, so there's that bit of a delay. But so what you're telling me is that you do work. You because that's a conscious effort. Same thing with stand-up comedy. A lot of people think that you just wake up and a joke just falls out, but it's actually a process of sometimes that happens when you're lucky, but you can consciously put stuff down and work it until you find something that goes together and hits. And so the beats, how do you mix with the beats? Do you do the beats also?
No. So it used to be my roommate, like the guy I was living with during COVID. He was a music producer. So I usually get tons of beats from him, or people who listen to No Agenda somehow would message Adam Curry and be like, who's that guy, Deezlaughs? And then Adam would share my email with them. And then they sent me beats. So it's like a whole nother community.
So that's interesting. And I think that's like a lesson for us all, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Even in that song, you are telling people value for value, go support the shows you like, and you connected with somebody that this person didn't live near you. I'm guessing probably doesn't, maybe not even in the same country.
I think he lived in Portland. I've never met him.
Portland, in another country.
Yeah.
But you guys met through No Agenda and ended up collaborating to create
a bunch.
Music.
Yeah.
And that's just something that didn't happen. Pete, say what you will about the internet. There are a lot of problems, but that's something that didn't happen 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
No, it's awesome. And he had actually told me, so shout out to Mr. Information, aka Matty J, producer. But he had kind of made music for years and years, just never really put it out anywhere. Didn't really want to put it on YouTube, Spotify. And I was kind of the same way. So we kind of found this whole like new streaming platform, and we're able to kind of like split even all the Satoshis or tiny bits of Bitcoin between the two of us. So people will send money for listening if they enjoy it, little bits of Bitcoin, and then it splits to us 50-50.
Where do they send that?
So it's on a streaming platform right now called Wavelake, like wave, like the wave file, WAV.
I'll share all that stuff in the show notes and stuff afterwards in the description again.
Yeah. So it was just great to meet people from all over to kind of.
You take crypto, you take fractions of it. You're working with people across the border, and you came together because of similar, like-minded people. You guys both probably saw the BS going on, and bam, now you're making music. And I have to say, credit to you for always being supportive and pull. I mean, you pull in people that you appreciate, and that's like an ad. It really is. And then the No Agenda show, they give people a platform to do that. They see the value in what other people can create, and really, you donate $60. It's like a pretty expensive ad that anywhere else. I donated for the first time not long ago, and I got a couple messages saying, "Oh, I'm getting back on listening to your podcast after hearing that donation." I'm like, "Holy cow! It really is like an advertisement."
It is.
So
it is.
Those dudes really did create a pretty unique platform with what they've built, and you are taking, like, you're using the hell out of it in a great way, in a way that I think a lot of people can model after. I just love it, man. I know I'm kind of like oozing. That's kind of a gay word to say, but I just think it's really cool, the initiative that you
You're
took.
like the white Don Lemon. I know.
Right. No, I'm not the white Don Lemon. Let's never say that again. Not the white Don Lemon.
Okay.
Not the white Anderson Cooper either. Definitely not the white Anderson Cooper
for sure.
either.
No.
But you make fun of those guys. So, like, let's listen to a couple of these other tracks, and we'll talk, because I'll talk forever about this stuff. Me and you have talked till 3 a.m. about some of this stuff before. Let's hear some of these other tracks, and then we'll keep talking. Couple comments. Royal Horse Mounters, LOL, from Frighten Me. Nate noticed the Junior. Yes. Yes,
that's
very
RFK
funny.
Junior. Yeah.
If only
remember he was
on his side.
There was something about him. I remember he was like still, I guess, shilling for, I guess, maybe Israel or something before the war. And I remember there was something he was like defending Israel, but I was just like, everyone says everyone's an op, Bobby the op. Everyone's like, it doesn't matter. It's almost like a purity test, right? It's like.
Right. I think everybody's in some role is compromised in some way by someone, I think.
Yeah.
And I think a Kennedy's got to have. I don't think there's going to be a Kennedy.
No. You know what? But hey, good for him. Good for him, like getting ousted by his whole family. So.
Yeah, right. He got his face out of all that pussy he was eating, and he started doing a little bit of work.
Yeah.
Good for him on that also. All right. So here is, what's this second one called? Okay, so this is 5 Sweet. Is this the right?
Oh, just Sweet. Yeah, this one's Sweet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, here we go on Sweet.
Continue to speak out. I pledge to never give up. I will do everything I can.
Here we go.
To keep my voice, number one. To advance the rights and opportunities of women. In the midst of this snowstorm, to stay on the front lines of democracy.
There you go. She's deathly ill again.
She's trying to cough up her baby. Small lizard.
Big Sleazy, Tommy Gufano. He's a walk genius.
The conspiracy as a kid looked odd. My guy, the Tin Man from the Wizard of Oz, going down a yellow brick road looking for a heart. Keep stacking your stats, Maxwell. Get smart. Back in the day, I watched Meet the Fockers. Now my ears bleed listening to TikTokers. No more wristwatches, Apple products. I miss the 80s brands, Casio and swatches. Losing so much weight these days, I gotta make new holes in my belt. You could say another notches. Put the fork down, son, it's for the best. How can people not see at this point we're eating ourselves to death? Consumed by the toxins in the environment. Many people living on unrealized debt. Markets manipulated and suppressed, especially with precious metals. You ain't seen nothing yet, you're what they allow. Why I keep saying they, hiding in the shadows, gripping power, and I mean all day. All night, you can go left, I said I'm good, being right. The 3 T's make the whole thing work. Better decentralized than a podcasting network. You can't monetize. Don't make the same mistake and waste resources like a jerk. Podcast 2.0 with many features. Learning about the Fed Reserve on the Jekyll Island, created by these creatures. Yeah, shout out G. Edward Griffin. Yo, really a G. He put together how to understand money monopoly and how a policy came to be through these eloquent speeches. Now the podcasters spread the message with tremendous reaches.
All right, it's so cool.
Oh,
so
yeah.
got a little bit of. I love the intro there of Hillary Clinton choking on God knows what, and commentary from Adam and Dvorak, and you got a little bit of kind of back in the more simpler times when we could watch Meet the Fockers without going, how many of these people are pedophiles?
Oh yeah, that's a whole. Yeah.
Right. But then you just start offering solutions. You stop doing that. It's just it's not so like you do it in a way that I'm still bobbing my head, but I'm like, oh yeah, I should. So this is like the type of sloganeering and music. Like people don't need to be repeating Taylor Swift and my neck, my back, my pussy, my crack. They need to be repeating,
something a little
build your
more
own
positive.
systems and you jerk.
You jerk. Don't waste your time and resources like a jerk.
Resources watching Meet the Fockers.
It was a simpler time. You're right. It's hard to watch these shows now. These TV shows and movies. It's actually funny enough. I don't know. Maybe I'll take us for a little left turn, but I did see that movie. Am I Racist in the movie theater?
Yeah, you told me you.
Yeah, it was
you
pretty
liked
good.
It, right? Yeah,
it was pretty good. Yeah, not bad. But
was there anybody else in the theater?
Yeah, so I got to tell you. So the Toronto, the demographics. Let's just say.
Are you the only black guy in Toronto?
There's not even close. Not even close. I mean, okay, so during COVID, obviously, like many places have had a lot of immigration from, war-torn countries and whatnot. But yeah, we've taken in so many international students, especially in Toronto. Like we've taken just so many different Ukrainians. Obviously, there's special tax programs and benefits for that.
Bitches, dude.
Oh, lots of hot Ukrainians around Toronto, which goes with black guys very well.
Around them.
Yeah. So honestly, it's pretty diverse out here. Almost too diverse, actually, I would say.
Are people's cats and dogs disappearing?
I do know some Haitians. I actually just worked with a comedian. I'll give him a quick shout out. His name is Kirby Darius. And he's a Haitian dude, and he was just doing a joke about that, literally on a special that he taped. So
that's great.
Yeah, it's a great time for comedy, at least, if nothing else.
In the right place. And you apparently have the right place to do comedy. In Atlanta, you got to be LGBTQ or an ally if you want to do it in the city, pretty much, for stand-up. If you're a white guy, you get the hell out. You oppressor is really kind of it's kind of open discrimination with some of the clubs. I don't even think they realize it. But you told me, didn't you organize some shows during the pandemic that you said were pretty successful?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, just because we had a lot of lockdowns and mandates here. So most people most people stayed in. A lot of people didn't go out. A lot of people didn't really buck the system too much.
Yeah. But you guys
there was a few like bar owners. Sorry?
Yeah, y'all's comedy club was open, weren't you?
A little bit. Like it was, but even before that, I was working at that comedy club. I was just doing it independently at a restaurant of a guy who was just very like anti against the lockdowns and everything. So yeah, we just never checked anybody for any kind of, vax mandate passport or
you didn't do
the temperature gun. Remember that? The temperature.
No, I remember that, dude. Yeah. They used to scan my mom's in a wheelchair. Nobody knew how to like handle her. They'd cause she had a headband to help her because of her condition. And, people see a handicapped person, they don't always know how to react. You go into Emory and they pull out the gun and they don't know where to put it because she's got this headband helping her head stabilize. And they just kind of go, from 6.5 feet away. I mean, they're social distancing while taking the temperature. And then they go, 72 degrees, you're good to go. And it's like, doesn't that seem a little low, nurse? Doesn't that seem dangerously low? Maybe you should get a little closer. But all they needed to get was below 99. So it could be 30 and be like, you're good to go. This person's dead. Let's bring him in. You're good to go. Yeah. So you were hosting comedy shows at like a bar. Do you do stand up, or do you just like stand up and you've been managing it for a while, right? So like, what's your origin story behind that? Because I love stand up. I've done stand up on and off for years, and so I'm interested in how you got into managing clubs. You there? Did I lose you? Oh, I think I might have lost you. Oh, there you are. Yeah, you fell out for a minute. So did you hear my previous question before you fell out? You might not have. Check. Did we lose you, Derryck? Frighten Me says, Derryck, I can't hear you if you can hear me. Trudeau, got him, says Nate. I'm going to read through a couple of the comments and see if we can get you back up and working with the audio. Frighten Me says, trucker protests were the only Canadians defying the lockdown. Yeah, I remember those trucker protests, man. Lost them again. We were working on the technical difficulties, and sometimes there's not a lot you can do about them, especially, I don't know, he's so far away. He's in Canada. Trudeau is physically blocking the internet connection because he knows we're about to start talking about how gay Trudeau is and how he's Castro's son. We got you back, Deez. Can you hear me? I can hear you. Yeah, the fucking Skynet.
I can hear you.
All right, we're back. Trudeau tried to.
I think it's my. Yeah, I think it's my connection. Next time I come on, I'll have a wired-in connection proper. This is very unprofessional of me.
Sometimes even a wired connection doesn't do the trick with these streaming platforms. Unfortunately, they haven't been perfected yet. But, nevertheless, we're used to the about one time a show, Deezlaughs, I freeze up in a weird face and have to pop out and pop back in. And as I told you, Sam and I were doing a show last night, AAA, and we were trying to get a video to work, and we were just going through this whole technical process during the middle of the show. So it happens, man.
Think of the
podcast.
Think of the money you could charge other podcasters. Yeah, you could just teach other podcasters how to podcast. If
teach
you
other
podcasters.
Yeah. Here's what's going to happen in the middle of your show. Either you or somebody you're doing a show with is going to come out, and you're going to have to fill that time somehow. And
that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So sometimes in those mistakes, that's one of the things I used to teach in stand up and improv is the mistakes are actually opportunities in live shows. Definitely. Anyway. There's a lot of people. So you probably see this in stand up. A girl walks by, and of course it's a girl because they're the drunkest at stand up shows usually. She trips and spills a drink, and so the comic might freeze up, or the comic, just says mopping the floor, whatever. It says something that's not funny at all, but simply points out what's going on. Whole audience laughs because it releases the tension by acknowledging what's going on. So you get a laugh by not even saying anything funny, just by saying, "Oh, I see this reality," and it's crazy how a lot of people who aren't experienced kind of, I know the first few times I did, I froze up when I'd be, oh, what do I do? This thing's happening. So what's your origin of stand-up? Like, how did you get into managing and hosting? You said you're running room before you started working at the club?
So just quickly, I used to work in corporate kind of. I used to work. Let me
stop. I want to, before you go into this, I do want to say Stoner has a point here. This is institutional racism, these StreamYard cutoffs. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'll be looking for reparations from you guys for my album.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah. We'll have Joe. We'll have Biden and Kamala. Send them right up there.
Yeah, definitely. So I just worked a lot of I used to work in the banks. I used to work in a bank. I used to work a lot of corporate jobs doing sales. And then I think I got fired when I was maybe 32 or 32 from selling corporate tax software to companies. And then I was just like, I hate this. I was listening to podcasts at the time, and I was just like, I should just produce my own stand-up shows. Yeah. And then I just started going around to different comedy clubs locally. I knew a guy who owned a comedy club who I went to high school with. Mm-hmm. And then I just kind of started hanging around and learning the ins and outs and what makes a good producer and what just all these little things. And I slowly just started producing my own shows, like scouting my own shows, advertising, like doing the whole thing. So yeah, it was
So
fun.
you want to do something and you found somebody who's doing it. You took action to do it. That's a good lesson. You know, some people who are 32 might have that idea and think, I didn't start doing that yet.
I'm too old, to start. Yeah.
I used to interview stand-ups for a magazine in Atlanta, and I think it was Ron White who I was talking to about this. And I asked him, I think I asked him how old he was when he really got going or something. He was a little bit older once he really got. He didn't do stand up. I think for the first time. Maybe I'm misremembering this.
In his 30s or 40s.
Like early 30s, late 20s. First time he did it, and he didn't even get popular until late 30s, 40s.
Yeah.
And he said he said you just can't worry about age thing. You just got to do it. I mean, because so whatever age you are now, you could sit around and say I'm too old to do this. And then 10 years from now, you go, man, I wish I would have started doing this 10 years ago.
Yeah. So that's literally it. Yeah. Just kept doing it for about 8-9 years. And I ended up working, like I'm managing this club that I used to produce shows for him. This guy, Joe, who does The Corner. And we just kept a good relationship during COVID. He opened up his club kind of against the lockdowns. And then just found so many like-minded people during that time. So I think that was the kind of hard time where people probably were fighting with their friends and family, but you found a whole bunch of other people who were like similar and maybe their values, and they could kind of align on certain things. So that was
your
important.
buddy just happened to be of like mind?
Yeah, he was always kind of more like a rebel, kind of anarchist, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys, or you, I don't know if he was too, but you were doing shows during the pandemic. Were they related to the No Agenda meetups that you said you've hosted some No Agenda meetups up there?
That was separate. So we were just doing meetups at a different place. He was great because during COVID, obviously, people were isolated. So he kind of just opened his club just to have people in there and just kind of just talk for 5 minutes.
Each other.
Yeah, that too. That too.
Yeah, take the mask off.
Exactly. So no, it was great. And you know what? Out of that really weird, kind of shitty, demoralizing probably time for a lot of people, losing jobs and all these different things, it's like, I don't know, I was just looking at the positive that came out of it. And
yeah. I think that's the way you have to look at all of this stuff.
It's all we got going forward. So
yeah, when it's a massive demoralization campaign, simply choosing to see the positive and taking action like you and others have, it is like, that's how you defeat the demoralization campaign. A demoralization campaign is designed to demoralize you and make you not take action and think that everything is hopeless. But it's not, and there are people, and the pandemic, as you said, while it sucked, it did bring together so many people who are like, screw this, we're going to do stuff anyway. And I think it's so interesting. You and I talked about how it's like the days of Hollywood movies and, I don't know what example, like Dice Clay or Seinfeld, which are the two most opposite type of stand-ups. But, blow up on the just playing huge auditoriums. It seems like those might be gone, but what we have now is you have these groups that you can connect with online, that you have big audiences people build, and you can find them, through your analytics and stuff, and you can set up shows and tour around the country and go do things. I know Chrissy Mayer kind of blew up doing stuff like that. I know Sam goes around the country to spots where his audience is, and we don't have to go to, like, some of my friends who are actors are closet libertarian Republicans, and they keep trying really hard to like force the Hollywood model of stuff to go. And I'm like, dude, how many dude making out with dude auditions are you gonna? I mean, do you want to get these parts? like even if you love the part, it's gonna be like Bobby and his best friend Joe are driving along talking about their girlfriends, and then suddenly they start violently boofing, and it's like that's in every single Netflix show now for no reason. And like I try to tell him, I'm like, look, dude, because some of them come on the show. One of them comes on the show, and
Yeah.
everybody loves him. And I've taken him around to play characters. He's such a great performer. I've been like, dude, embrace this side. These people love you.
Yeah.
Stop trying to make the people who want to force you to call them by a pronoun that's different every day to love you.
Right.
Right. And I think there's a lot of people that are still struggling with
Well,
the
yeah,
old way versus the new way.
Yeah. And it's the big platforms. This is the whole no agenda thing of advertising as censorship, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think people have to just kind of get comfortable with, I'm going to have maybe not as big numbers, but I'll be able to like have a smaller but more intentional community. These people, if whatever you guys and everyone listening to this right now, if you're listening to this, there's no reason why you guys shouldn't have been contributing something to Brad here financially or in some way. I'm gonna show for you, Brad, because I know you don't like to.
I appreciate that.
You got to send value to the people that you like. If not, then we're just losing. We're still just playing a losing game in the long term. And these people go away. You know, the people that you like, it's free. You feel like it's free content because you get it on YouTube, but it's not free.
Podcasting is hard. Most people quit pretty quickly after they start. And I will say this, the comments that people leave me, because I do say, if you're not in a position to donate or whatever, leave me a comment that makes me feel good. I go read those, and I do a terrible job of reading them on the show. But I actually have a list of them that I'm putting together to read because they really do. Like, people do that, and they say some wonderful things, and sometimes you just need that. You know, sometimes you just need the kind words because everybody is filled with self-doubt at times.
Of course.
And seeing this, like, okay, yes, and that, you know, it gives you that extra motivation. But yeah, also money. I get, like, I don't, like, I'm terrible at marketing.
Okay, but this is the trick. Like, when you ask for money, you make it actually part of content, part of the show, and you can make it fun. So
no,
you could be like,
yeah, you're right. I need
whoever donates the most this month is the executive producer of the propaganda report.
Yes,
you know,
yeah,
put you on a list right away. We'll put you on a list for sure.
I absolutely, man. I try to take lesson from the No Agenda guys and some of that, and I'm trying to improve my organizational skills. I really am. I do struggle with some of that. Yeah,
your content is so good. It's just like, I just think it would be crappy if all these people that we like, I don't know, maybe shout out like one or two of your favorite content guys who you like and be like, oh, you guys should, if you like me, you might like this guy or that. That's another way of sending value, right?
You're right. No, and that's what you do, man. Like getting in the chats, and you're in the chat at 1 a.m. if I'm doing the show. You're leaving comments, and it's goes back to that community aspect that we were talking about. I used to be terrified to publish a show when I first started podcasting.
Right.
It would take me a week to publish it because I just think of all the awful things people on YouTube would say to me. And I'd done stand-up for many years and improv for over a decade, and acting. I'd performed live for 15 years before I first started podcasting. I'd been on the radio.
Yeah.
And still, I'm just like, man, YouTube can be so mean, you know.
Yeah,
but then
section,
yeah,
comments are sometimes better than the videos. We know that,
right? But then I just started. I'm like, I just got to do it live because you'll edit something to death, and it'll be, you know, it'll be outdated, and you start doing it live, and you start realizing, when you're talking to people in the chats and the comments that, because of the way audiences or communities have come together through this new modern society we have, that most people who find you are very cool and kind, and they're forgiving. They don't expect perfection, and they're cool when you have a difference of opinion. I don't care if people differ. I don't get mad at people for having a different opinion than me, and the people who do get butthurt if you say something that they don't like. They go, well, I'm done. And I'm like, good. If some, like, people who listen.
Watch Brian Stelter. That's what Brian Stelter's for, you know?
Right. Exactly. It's just like, because you feel that pressure of wanting to satisfy everybody who's listening, like whatever Lincoln said, which is, I'm sure, very profound. If he ever said it, I don't know if Lincoln's gay or not. I don't know. I know that's a thing now, but you know what I'm talking about. Please all the people, some of the... So that's a whole new twist on that saying, isn't it? Now that people think Lincoln is gay. Can't please all the people all the time. You can please some of the people some of the time. Okay, so, but it's just like... So there was somebody who called me controlled opposition not long ago, and I like this person, but like they were saying very mean things to a guest that I had on the show.
They called you a grifter?
Well, this guest I had on... agreed with this person on like 85% of things, but didn't love Trump.
Okay.
And said that she didn't like Trump. And he just started saying mean things to her. And I'm like, dude, don't do that. That's not like, and he's like, you too? He's like, I'm disappointed. You're controlled opposition. I'm like, well, unless they're paying controlled opposition minimum wage, I'm not controlled opposition.
Right.
I mean, give me a break. And he hasn't listened since. And I don't want to feel like I have to like, please that, you know? I'm like, okay, I like you, but like, you know, don't make unrealistic, like the extremes are rewarded on the internet sometimes. And I'm okay with the people who don't have to jump on everything tribal warfare. Like it's cool to disagree and agree on things and have conversations. And I love that there's like a ton of people, like a lot of people here in the chat. So like, I know we agree on a ton of things. There's things we don't agree on, but everybody puts up with me being a weirdo and having a dirty sense of humor.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with that. You know?
Hey, man.
I appreciate that.
I don't think there's anyone else I'd watch wear a ball gag. So I think
Thank you.
You're pretty much the only one.
Know, that's what my mother used to say to me. And this terrible. No, right. I could never believe that I wore a ball gag. There was a funny comment earlier. I think it's up there on screen. Nate said, ball gags do get expensive, talking about... You're right. You know how much I spent in that sex shop, okay? Spent way too much money in that sex shop. I'm still trying to give away those penis straws. I hope I give away all the penis straws before I die so people don't think they're mine.
You just got to go to an improv show. You can give them away real quick, one shot. Just go to an improv show.
Every suggestion. Let me get one of these two people. One's a banker, the other is his wife, and he's working too much. What do they do? I just throw a penis straw up at him.
Yeah.
And it's crazy too.
Or
you go to an improv
sketch.
show.
Sketch or improv, really.
Improv show you go to, you throw a penis straw on stage, and the scene will devolve to them sucking it the whole time because improvisers can't help themselves. We did this pilot years and years ago, and there was this little scene that I wrote in it where I'm hosting an improv show. I have the clip somewhere online. And I got the actors on stage, and I'm just like, all right, so let me get a suggestion. And we had everybody in the audience. We had the room filled. It's like, let me get a suggestion of a geographical location and a relationship between these two actors. And I had my craziest friend in the front. He just goes, balls. And I was like, how about? He goes, balls. I was like, well, why don't we go ball? And then it just devolves into the whole room shouting balls, balls at me. I'm just like, this is improv.
Well, they're the biggest autists. They're like the biggest. Yeah. They're way worse than the stand-ups. At least the stand-ups are kind of maybe keep to themselves a little bit, and then they say crazy shit on stage. These people, yeah, they're just crazy. Just working in a comedy club for a long time, I've seen enough of their parties, and yeah, they're wild. They're wild people. Yeah.
Yeah, my friend Bob, who ran the theater, he used to, Prepper Bob. He hadn't been on the show in a while,
Prepper Bob.
Yeah, he's great. He was the host of our group, and whenever we would get suggestions like balls and butthole and whatever stuff, if it came too much. That was a weird way to say that. He would take the suggestion, and then when the scene just evolved quickly, he'd end it, and he goes, okay, and that's what happens, and he'd blame the audience for the stupid suggestions.
Yeah.
And he was right. It was funny as shit.
No. Yeah,
AJ
man. But
says, and then I want to play this last one of yours.
Sure.
AJ says one of the funniest things from the ball gag interviews was when I asked the guy what's the weirdest thing he'd seen out there while I had a ball gag in my mouth. And I talked to that guy for like 5 minutes, dude. Like it was so he was so uncomfortable, but he didn't want to say it. It was great.
Oh man.
Okay. All right. So let's listen to this third one, and then you can tell us where people can find the full album when it comes out. I really love what you're doing, man. I love your attitude, and I love your work ethic. And
that's my birthday today too.
Happy birthday.
Hey, thanks, man.
What's today? This October 16th.
October 16th.
Happy
Dropped the album
birthday.
today.
Well, thanks for
Perfect.
spending it with us.
Oh, please. I'm going to go work after. I don't know if I've even told you this, but I have another job, because if you work in Canadian comedy, you need another job just by default. So
Yeah.
I work at like where the Raptors play and the Leafs, Toronto Maple Leafs. Like I just like bartend and sell beers there. So I'm gonna work the Maple Leafs game tonight. Yeah.
Very cool, man. It'd be sucks you have to work on your birthday, but that's a cool job to have.
No, you make tips. You talk shit to people. It's so fun.
Are you going through the stadium?
Actually, for this one, I'll be like walking through the aisles, just in the stadium, right by the ice, right by the boards. So
who are the best tippers? Oh, we lost
business people. Business. Well, everyone's like, I don't know, the best tippers.
No, we're talking race and gender.
Okay, Asian.
I was gonna say Asian.
Yeah, Asian. We're gonna start
funny,
just
dude.
like in the. It's how it is in society. Asians, then whites, blacks. My people, they don't tip, man. The stereotype is real. The stereotype is real. Indians are terrible tippers too. Oh yeah.
Really?
But I don't want to just. I'll pass it. Not
Kamala
just black
Harris,
people.
dude. Kamala's tipping nothing.
But yeah, she's not. She's black and Indian, so she gets both.
Doug the Jew, what's he tipping?
Yeah, I've been seeing that. Doug's getting some run lately. He's hooking up with some. I heard that story from you, or what was that? Some story that he was in trouble.
They say he banged his nanny and got her pregnant and made her get an abortion, and that he beat his ex-girlfriend. I think Kamala's made the whole story up. I think she made the whole story up to make us think that he's not gay. I think.
Well,
I mean, gay.
Between that Shannon Sharp's video, what he was putting on
God.
IG.
What was the story behind that? He was on IG banging a chick.
Yeah, he's trying to prove he's not gay. Because Chad,
just a dude with a high pitched voice.
I mean, I thought that too, but hey, who knows? Who the hell knows?
He was gay, Shannon Sharp.
Yeah, of course, because he's always sitting courtside with his stylist. And
oh my gosh, that's funny. So the theory is he left it on. So I'll show people.
Well, then he did a podcast like that night or the day after with one of the other football players. Oh, they can't call you gay now, and it's like
that's funny.
You guys are so gay. It's just like.
I mean, we didn't see it though. We just heard it.
No, I know.
We just heard it. And lady boys can sound like bitches. I'm guessing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Make sure you get the right one up here. This is. Hold on here.
Frightening me.
Horny for War. I remember this one.
Horny for War. Oh, yes.
Yeah, I love Horny for War. We played Murky Waters, right? That's the last one we played.
Yeah, we played that one.
Okay. All right, let's play Horny for War. This is another good one. And this is Horny for War from, and you said the album is, you released it today, October Surprise.
Yeah, so it's on that platform now. It'll be on YouTube and Spotify in a week or two. I just got to clear some of the music samples. But yeah. This one it's up now, pretty much. So.
Fantastic. Well, here's Horny for War from Deezlaughs.
And gentlemen, it is time to rubblize!
You're now tuned in to the Booster Grand Ball with the DJ who never fumbles the ball. Never worry, you're in the capable hands of Adam Curry. Casualties mentioned so casually. Answer the question, go, nah, that's a Ramaswamy. Cosplay in World War III, are you kidding me? Limited war from afar, it's hard to hear, much less see. Lester Holt is adult, we win, they lose. Wishful thinking, not a policy, but another ruse.
This whole thing is bullcrap.
This is wishful thinking, not a policy, but another ruse. Showing off the weapons of war on cable TV. Where are they bombing next for all of us to see? Tugging at our heartstrings with the stories of these beheaded babies being talked about so flippantly. No evidence or proof of follow-up questions needed to be asked. Proportionate is not necessary. People are aghast, take to the streets, and if you ask, politicians are just showing their ass. The stance is a fan of Prince, yo, I suppose the heels cutting throats for votes. We've got to stop the steal, but Tim Scott doesn't have a shot. Krispy Kreme, Chris Christie, I think not. Nuka Nikki is no darling Haley, and she's mad. Always horny for war like Usher, girl, you got it bad. saying you've got it, you've got it. Brad Binkley reporting real-time propaganda. Deep dives with Monica Perez, hey, take a gander.
Yeah, the news is stupid. They make news out of nothing. It's Edward Bernays' model of bullshit.
I said that Taiwan is next, the U.S. looking to flex. The Speaker of the House is distributing taxpayers' checks next. Send a text if you want to donate to the Red Cross. Said I'm good, nah, I just picked up my cross. Lives are broken and the family scattered to the winds. Against the will of the people, official, committing unspeakable sins. Middle class never wins. Citizens are flowing in the wind and the rubberizing countries. I said the rubberizing countries looking like expensive garbage bins. Peacefully protesting has gotten us here. Boycott the bankers, man, the people even couldn't stop drinking Bud Light beer. Steer clear from anyone who isn't clear on what a man is.
I've never heard such clear, concise truth.
Ask yourself, why are the women nowadays acting so mannish? We don't want to talk about our health unless it's necessary. Isolation in the family is really scary. Neocons treating us like neopawns, treating us like light switches, like to turn us off then back on. Divide and rule, what will it spawn? Deconstruct the media cause we don't like Decepticons. No agenda, 2 p.m. Thursday and Sundays. You're giving out so many truth bombs.
I think I'm okay. It's a lot of information to keep up with.
Sorry, is it too much?
No.
Okay.
Such a unique way to use media. I mean, a lot of us play clips. You know, it's just such a unique way to combine different media, and I mean, the way you present it. The point, like you're getting points across too. I think it's really cool, and I think it's very creative. Tell me this. This is something I know a lot of artists struggle with. Mm-hmm. How did you? What made you know that it was ready? Like, how long have you been working on it?
You know what? Well, I guess almost a good thing. Even starting it so late, like we talked about starting comedy, you know, when you're in your 30s. I didn't start rap until 3 or 4 years ago. 4 years ago. So, you know what? The whole thing with doing it for no agenda was it has to be done within a few days or a week. So you can't worry about, is it ready? Yeah. I mean, I don't think it really sounds great yet, the quality, because I've been getting into better studios lately. And I just know I'm like, if it's okay now, it's going to sound way better in a few years. And that's like, right. It's just, it's just quantity, you know, you got to do it.
It's like totally. So you see that no agenda shows as kind of like a deadline.
A practice, almost like my practice. Don't want to put it out there to them like that, but yeah, I'm grateful that they even play it and even they think it's worthy of, getting any kind of play. So,
and it's hard to do, but so having that accountability marker, which can be hard to have for yourself if you're not getting out there and doing stuff. So with stand-up, people often want to just tweak stuff to death when they're new or before they start. You know, a perfect set before I ever go do a set. But the fact is, the reason people do that is because they are desperately trying to avoid the inevitable, which is bombing. Yeah. Every single comic in the history of the world has bombed over and over and over again, and that is why they have killed. And you get comfortable. Seinfeld, in that documentary he did, you see Seinfeld bombing.
Oh yeah, with Orny Adams.
With Orny Adams. Yeah. And I guess funny. And like the guy was worth, I think he was worth almost $1 billion at that point in time. And he's out there bombing. It's after Seinfeld was done because he's trying to create his new set. And you don't find the jokes that work. You don't develop the ones into the masterpieces that they become until you go out there and you just put them out there. It's what do they say in the tech industry? They say let's move fast and break stuff. It's the same thing with the creative arts, with writing and writing lyrics and writing stand up. Is you just have to put it out there and you just have to be okay. I don't even want to call it failure because it's progress.
Yeah, and it's like I gotta be honest. It's like I used to listen to so much rap music and I was in it for so long just as a fan that I've been inspired by it. There's a guy right now, I don't know if you've ever heard of him. His name is Your Old Droog.
Never heard of him.
No? So he's like a Ukrainian Jewish guy from Brooklyn.
Oh my God.
And honestly, he kind of he's just, to me, he's one of the better rappers because it's very conversational and he's telling a story and it's very clear. It's the opposite from all this mumble rap and all the people just making noise.
They come and interchange our country. This is a psyop.
Yeah, yeah.
All our good women.
Yeah.
That's
So,
cool.
but
I mean, that's a unique category there, the Ukrainian Jew, and he's telling stories, but he's not spreading propaganda.
exactly, yeah. And he's like from New York. He works with some of the best producers and rappers, but
God.
and honestly, he's not like, he doesn't do what all the big guys like maybe a Jay-Z or how all these other guys would maybe move. He just puts out quality material. His fans are hardcore, and they support him to the nth degree. So I think that's kind of the takeaway you almost got to take. It's like you're going to find hardcore people who you support or support you, and then really just they'll be their best. They'll bring other people into your kind of.
Somebody, I don't know how accurate this is, but I remember reading a little while back that all you need is like 1,000 loyal supporters, and that is more than enough to sustain yourself based on everything that you offer. Because I don't offer products. I should. I've been talking about offering products for a while.
I'm wearing a propaganda report shirt now.
Products, right? But I don't currently really offer any products. I'm going to. It's another thing on the list. But like when you like somebody, you like people's work, it's like the coffee thing. Why does every podcaster sell coffee? Well, because their listeners like them, and it's like everybody drinks coffee anyway. I might as well buy it from the podcaster I like, or the rapper that I like.
Right.
You know, if it's good coffee.
Sure.
And it's kind of that idea, and I think that is like, I think it creates an opportunity. I think there's opportunities for people to make money, make a living doing things that they might not have thought they could have before. But, you know, following in your footsteps and just doing it, man, just getting up and going and learning and just finding that accountability point of no agenda or whatever it is. And that's a great thing about it. That's given me some ideas, actually, is like the opportunity No Agenda has presented gave you an accountability point. He also inspired you to do something. And now you're releasing an album. And I'm like, man, that is so cool. I want to get involved in something and like help and do it, because it's so cool to like inspire people.
Well,
and that's like a way of inspiring artistic creation that I hadn't even thought of that is like giving me some ideas. I love it, man. Tell everybody how they can find your album, where, when, and what they can do to support you.
Well, yeah, thanks again, man. Thanks again for having me on.
Yeah, man. I love having you on. I love talking to you.
Yeah. Love your audience. Love everyone in the chat. Shout out to everyone in the chat.
You got a lot of birthday wishes in there.
Thank you.
Before we
if you want to just find my music right now, like I said, it's on this platform. It's called Wavelake, WAVLAKE.com. And you just search for Deezlaughs. And yeah, all my music is pretty much under there exclusively.
So wavelake.com, WAVELAKE.com.
Yeah.
And then search Deezlaughs, DEEZLAUGHS.
Yeah. So yeah, just search Deezlaughs. And should come up. Other than that, you can find me on Instagram, Deezlaughs. Shoot me a DM there. Twitter, same thing, Deezlaughs. Shoot me a message. But yeah, if you want to send anything, it's funny. I've got people mail me stuff. I have people said like e-transfer me, send me money that way. People just reach out through email or DM me. That's great. Just want to hear from people, and it's great because I get to send stuff to other people like the same kind of way through the mail.
Yeah.
An old school kind of form of value. You send stuff through the mail, and yeah, man, it's great.
Yeah. No, I mine for gold up in Helen. I send those last little pieces of gold we can.
You got to hold that gold, man. You got to hold that gold.
It's very cool, man. I enjoyed the conversation. You're welcome back anytime.
Yeah, thank you.
Come on and do a political science theater 3000 with us sometime. You're very funny. Have you ever thought about doing stand up?
Thought about it. Didn't want to. Honestly, it's too much work, and I don't want to repeat my jokes to kind of try them over. Yeah,
audience. Yeah. Right.
I love stand-ups, but I personally just couldn't do it. I tried it, and I just wasn't good at it. So it's okay. I know my strengths, my weaknesses.
That's one of the challenges of stand-up is getting comfortable, because you have to refine them, and when you go to open mics, you are oftentimes doing your same jokes to the same room full of open mic comics because that oftentimes is the only audience. But you can, like for me, you can throw something different in there if you know you're not going to get something with them. And honestly, what I used to do, actually how I kind of learned stand-up is when I was in law school, I would get to the venue late and those relapse. And I had done stand-up for a few years before, but I was always coming late and I would always get put at the end of the list and the show just went all night. And it was like 50 comics. It was like, and I'm like, nobody's going to listen unless I make fun of them. So I would just like take notes. I would just roast everybody.
Well, that'll make you stand out. But yeah, that's it, man. That's basically it. I'll definitely come back on another time for sure. Thank you to everyone.
Man. Check out Deezlaughs. Fantastic work, man. Keep it up. Let's do a couple comments and then we'll get out of here.
Sure thing.
See here. Birthday wishes. F and Skynet. Okay, so there's a birthday wish. Looks like the birthday party hat, not party hats, but whatever those are called, from Stoner. Happy birthday from Frighten Me.
Thank you.
Nate G says, tell Austin Matthews to score an effing goal, please. That's a hockey player, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah. He's on the Leafs. He's our captain,
He hadn't been
best player.
Lately?
Well, maybe he's off to a slow start. It's only one game in the season so far.
He's got that pussy on the mind, probably. Or bussy, depending on what he likes. I don't know. Let's see. Asians love tipping so much they throw coins into airplane engines. Is that true?
I thought that was the water fountain at the mall, but I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, well, those are airplanes. Did you know that those lift? That's what happened to malls. The fountains lifted and they flew away, and people stopped going to malls. Uncle is gay, says Stoner, and then Stoner follows that up with, my uncle is the worst ventriloquist. He would put two fingers in me and talk to me and tell me not to talk. It's your uncle is a molester in that situation.
That's one you want to keep to yourself, Stoner.
That's funny. And then we have Sir Jack Black says Deezlaughs is awesome. And
in the morning.
I didn't know this.
In the morning.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Nate G says that Dice Clay released a whole bunch of albums of just bombing. I love Dice Clay. Man.
Oh no, he did an album. It was called the Day After the Laughter Died, I believe. It's a double album, and it's him. I
gotta check that out, dude.
Yeah, it's him. I believe it's maybe like done on like New Year's or Christmas Eve, like from 1988, and it's like maybe 15 people in the audience, and he recorded it. And it's great. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Huge Dice Clay. He was so big.
Oh, yeah.
In the
first arena comic. Yeah, first arena comic. Yeah, definitely.
Mother Hubbard is just fucking Jack. I mean, he had a thing, man, and it was his personality just exaggerated a little bit and did the cigarette. And
I feel like he's almost like the Ric Flair of comedy.
Right. I watched one of his. Yeah, kind of.
He's like stuck in that kind of character almost.
And he looks like he'd whip your ass too. Looks like he's an actor too. He's a pretty good actor. Sure. I watched a special he released during the pandemic, and I loved it because he's still just talking about titties and just like he did my balls, and it's like, thank you. At least somebody hasn't changed. I like
true to themselves, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah. I should have had merch to sell. I tell you what, man. There's always a bunch of people selling merch at these Trump rallies. I need to get
You got it, Brad. You got to propagate the propaganda report. Come on.
I know, dude. I'm the worst at it. Nate says 3 games and no goals. So is this the playoffs for hockey, or is it just
the season just started? But
okay,
I'll mention it to Austin definitely when I'm by the boards today. I'll lean over.
Throw a beer at him if he doesn't score.
I'll lean over and mention it.
All right, man. Thank you guys in the chats for hanging out.
Thank
you. Dude, Nate, I'm telling you, Nate, I have thought about, I'm not going to have enough time now, but I was like, man, I need to actually sell white dudes for Harris ball gags as gag gifts so that people can give their progressive friends for Christmas or something. If I can get that going, and then I started thinking about this whole line of just gay sex stuff. Just it's a line of white dudes for Harris, like double dildos and all kind of gay shit.
Last question: where are you going to be watching the election results from?
I don't know. I mean,
will you be live streaming? Will you have a private
ideally
party?
we'll be live streaming, but
Yeah.
So there's a couple ideas. I might try to get a studio and get some people to do it in person, but there's also the opportunity of there's gonna be that's an ultimate man on the street opportunity too.
Oh yeah, Antifa night. It'll be no.
I don't know, man. I got to think about that. That's gonna be such a crazy night.
Yeah, just watch it like a Super Bowl. Invite people over, have friends, family, argue with people, or people that you actually know are not so sensitive.
I mean, I'm thinking also, I don't know how to make it all happen because you can't do everything, but it would be fun to be in the middle of one of these huge watch parties. There'll be a huge watch party at the hotel in Atlanta.
For sure.
Stacey Abrams and all these other Democrat politicians will be there giving pre-speeches and stuff. Like just being there and just being subversive would be a lot of fun.
It would. I'll tell you this one last story. During the election of the 2016 election, the Trump Hillary Clinton one, I remember I was working at Comedy Bar in Toronto here, and I was just watching it with a buddy here, and there was sports on the TV that night, but I remember the election, and I really wasn't into politics that much back then. And then just seeing people's faces as the percentages kept changing from 99% to maybe 86%. And then finally, when Trump won, to see people's faces just completely melt, it was me and my buddy were laughing our asses off. But I guess I don't know, we weren't really paying attention that much. And even up here,
seriously, dude.
even up here, they're really that's all they're talking about is this election.
Dude, some people get so serious, like it's their entire life. I mean, that's like effective propaganda when it's their entire life. Let me show you this clip, which I put it up. I probably didn't give it a great title, but just look how, like, this guy that I talked to is just one of the people. I didn't talk to a ton of people, but this guy came up to me. I didn't even ask this guy a question. I just said to the group, do you like Kamala or do you dislike Trump? And they're like, wait, Trump. And I'm like, well, what do you dislike about Trump? And I was very even keel. I wasn't even provoking them because it was just me. I didn't have a camera person.
Right.
So like this guy just kind of like he's a rapper, almost kind of like pushed his way through. And then he just kind of aggressively just repeated every single talking point that you've heard. And this is him right here. It's about 50 seconds here, this dude.
Well, I like Trump.
Turn up.
No, you like Trump.
Get that volume.
Well, I like Trump.
No, you like Trump.
Oh, yeah, I like Trump. Don't you know? I love it when somebody denigrates our veterans all the time. I love it when he calls for being a dictator on day one. I love it when he wants to tear up the Constitution. I love it when he goes to Arlington National Cemetery and shoves a worker over there.
Like none of this stuff is. There's no evidence of any of this stuff. There's an anonymous source that's never been corroborated. Like, I don't even know what the shovel work. You fucking cemetery piece of shit. Why don't you get in the hole? Like, what is that one?
Where do you get a Harris Waltz camo hat? That's pretty good.
I don't know, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, you gotta fuck Tim Walz.
Yeah, he's the best thing ever. Oh my gosh. The guy got lucky in 2016. He ain't getting lucky again. He lost in 2020, lose in 2021, 2022. Oh, he lost by 3 million votes the first time, 7 million the second time. How many million votes do you think he's gonna lose by this time? And guess what? It doesn't matter because they're gonna say they didn't lose because they don't believe in free and fair elections.
Yeah,
but here in Georgia, we do. This is Cobb County.
This is Cobb County, boy. And so that guy, does that woman, Frank me says, does that woman have a shield behind her? So this is what a handful of those people were doing. They wanted to say things to me, but they didn't with their face on camera. So they would pull their thing up. I have video of one of these ladies wrapping her entire face in her sign and and I was just asking them questions, and then they would say something, and I would say, well, what would you say to the argument that other people say? And I wasn't being as a neutral moderator. Well, you say that, but what would you say to the person over here who said this? And at one point, one of these ladies said something. I said, yes. But what they would say across the street is this. What would you say to that? And she goes, I'm done with you, and stormed off. And I'm like, oh my God. And she's like a 60-year-old woman. You think he's banging all these old boomer chicks? This guy here, this Indian
he
guy?
wants to. He wants to. He's got those crazy eyes. He could be one of our newcomer friends. No. He's he's not black. He's definitely I'd say Indian adjacent.
Yeah,
probably.
This guy like he sat down. He's like, where can I get that pussy? And he's like, I'm gonna be the Eminem for Harris Walls.
Yeah, well, they were playing that
chick behind him, dude. That big lady with the green eye looked like she's ready to get a little curry.
See, between playing that ludicrous song "Move, Bitch, Get Out the Way," and then here they're playing,
so funny.
They're playing what's it called? Big Sean, "I Don't Fuck with You." Yeah, they're really
they brought a boombox.
Yeah, I mean, these people are no fun. We all know. Like even Trump people in Canada, there's people here wearing Trump merchandise, and they're it's weird. I said weird. Great. Now you got me saying it. Okay.
I know, dude. Yeah. Well, look at even that lady that
she's pointing at him like the black guy.
She's like, I'm gonna suck him off. That's our minority, is what she said.
This is him. This is our
This is our guy. He's the only one. All the others were old white people, except for that. Actually, that guy looks like he's a school shooter that aged out in the background.
Future school shooter. Future.
Maybe.
No, he looks a little old to be a school shooter.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he graduated before he could make it happen.
Yeah. Well, there's always.
Dude. Yeah. So they thought my camera. I think I said this on the show, but they thought my rig I was holding. A cop goes, hey, no, and then he goes, oh, that's just a camera, and I was like, oh yeah, and he goes, oh, I thought it was a drone controller, and I was thinking about that today. I was like, man, if they really thought that was a drone controller, I'm lucky that they didn't blow my head off.
You got to be careful. You got to be careful, Brad.
I'm taking a different.
You're documenting history, and the powers that be don't like it. You're showing the Waltz and Harris campaign, the vans. You're showing the inside scoop of these places that they don't want to be seen. So, you're doing dangerous work.
Well, Josh coming to these events dressed as Trump is dangerous. I think these two here. Eminem, Indian Eminem, and this and Grandma over here on the left. I think those two are humping like rabbits. Dude.
Oh yeah, Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, they play Waltz and Harris speeches in the background. Yeah, Elizabeth Warren. She does look like Elizabeth Warren.
A little bit.
All right, dude. Thanks again.
All right, man.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. All right, guys. Enjoy your week, and everyone have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thank you. See y'all later.
See ya.
And